Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Our number 2 of the line. Talk 99.5. Talk995.com. Andrew Mclain, who.com. And the Talk 99.5 app. Make sure while they are continuing to work on our tower, the damage was extensive, apparently. You download the app so you can take us with you wherever you go. Not only can you watch us live on YouTube from the app, but you can listen to us. You can get the archive shows. You can do all the things you need to do to consume this show wherever you are in the whole wide world. Tell your friends about it. If you enjoy this show or the shows here on the station, and you know you got a friend that's maybe politically inclined, if you will, share the app with them. Tell them, hey, listen to these shows. Check them out. Whether they think like you do or maybe they're on the opposite side of the fence. Be like, hey, there's this one show in the middle of the day. It talks about poop a lot. Maybe that's something we can agree on. Poop talk is fun.
How about this? Over the line with Andrew Mclain, or the line with Andrew Mclain. Poop and presidents and political. It didn't come out the way I had it in my head. I'm going to turn off my mic.
Yeah. I think your heart was in the right place. Maybe pooping on political division. Bringing everybody together.
I like that. You know, my idea was just stupid. Gosh.
Pooping on political division.
Boom. There you go.
Hello. Diarrhea on division.
All right, here we go.
Let's
pull it back on the road.
Let's back it up. Taking it too far. They say, we said that we thought that they had nailed down Taco Bell's lettuce distributor being the culprit.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that was a false positive, and it's not them, and they're back to not knowing where it came from.
Is that company going to sue?
I don't know. I mean, I guess Taco Bell could technically sue for damages and say, hey, you hurt our business. Because you think about it, they probably lost money over the past, 2 or 3 weeks due to that. Due to the fact that people thought they were going to get the old doo-doo bug. The old doo-doo bug.
Nothing worse than the doo-doo bug. Oh, here we go. Shut up, John.
Mm-hmm. All right. If you want to get in, 205-545-9950. I want to talk about immigration a little bit, but first I'm going to get Rick. Rick, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, buddy?
We're good.
Y'all still smooth. You still my favorite.
Mm-hmm. We appreciate it.
Boy, I bet you hate hearing me call.
Nah, we don't.
Well, I figure these heavy people be buying this lettuce up by the headfuls. They done experimenting with that, using that parasites to help people lose weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody over here is fat and healthy. But talking about these airways now, this is a privilege, isn't it, to be able to talk and convey your thoughts to the whole world? It's not a right, is it, if you're trying to undermine our society? I mean, they let you, don't they, get on the air?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what about this David Koresh and that's the anniversary of what was that name of that place out there, Waco, Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was what I wanted y'all to talk about, if you would, for a second.
Okay, we can do that.
I think it was a Democrat, wasn't it, in charge? Who was it? No, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats. That's all I got, boys.
All right, thank you, Rick.
So,
Mm-hmm. I just like to, I like to let Rick just put it out there.
Yeah, he's a good pontificator.
Yeah, he is. He's he'll hop from one place to another, but and that's why you got to just stand back and let him roll.
Yeah,
You
and I
know?
like it when he does the pregnant pauses. That really adds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really. Mm-hmm. See,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Because you don't know what's next.
No, you never know what you're getting from Crazy Rick.
I didn't. You had no idea he was going to bring up Waco, Texas.
Mm-mm.
David Koresh. I'm always fascinated by that stuff. By the way, love watching documentaries on him.
Mm-hmm.
And people, what's interesting about it is society was, even from when that happened, society was split on whether or not the right thing was done. You know, a lot of people said that should have never, the government should have never gone in there, the ATF, the whatever, they should have never gone in there, and the way they handled it was completely inappropriate because many people died, innocent people died. And you know, it's kind of it's a balance because you don't want the government interfering in your life, especially if you're like you've moved off the grid and you're trying to stay away from society, yet the government is in there trying to infiltrate and, you know, do whatever they want to do, you know, whether it's something as simple as like there was one story out of, I think it might have been Oregon, where a guy had been collecting rainwater. He was collecting rainwater and he was using it on his land for his crops and such. And the city basically sent him a cease and desist and said, "You are not allowed to collect rainwater because that rain belongs to the city." Now, think about that. The city was claiming the rights to the rain. And I think because he told them to go stick it, they threw him in jail for collecting rainwater. And while he was in jail, they went and confiscated all his rainwater. I mean, he had a whole filtration system and everything else. And it's like, wait a minute. How can a government claim rainwater? So the government overreaches, obviously, to a tremendous degree. But when it comes to Waco, Texas, I mean, there were allegations of abuse. This guy was obviously a cult leader. And if he's in there abusing women, abusing minors, marrying minors, like that's a problem. And then you've got the fact that he was heavily armed. The whole the whole commune was heavily armed. And it's just like, what do you do? You know, there's communes out there where everybody's fine and civilized and whatever and doing their own thing. I actually went and visited one time. I don't know that I'm supposed to talk about it, but you don't think I should talk about
You
it?
better think twice.
Why?
You don't want to visit your house.
Well, they were nice.
Yeah, they were.
But we
They
got
all were
invited.
nice.
We got invited. Actually, Tony Gump and I got invited out to this commune. It's local, here local somewhere within, you know, the Birmingham suburbs. And it was one of the more fascinating places I've seen. They had people like had their own house. They had livestock there. There were kids running around. They had this giant like church where kids would go to school. And underneath the church, they had this giant printing facility where they printed literature that they sent all over the world. CDs. I mean, Bird, this place was you would have been in shock if you would have seen this place. I can't even describe it.
I still would like to. We need to do an undercover thing where I can wear my glasses with a camera
Oh, well, now that you've said that, that's never going to happen. We're never going to get invited.
No, that's a bit. That was. I was talking about the other one. I was talking about the ones in South Carolina.
Well, I mean, if we promised them to paint them in a good light, maybe they would let us record. But I doubt it. But they've got kind of their own media apparatus. So you go in there and like in the big church part of it, right? They got the church, they got these huge statues, and like it's very, very well done. I mean, beautiful architecture. And this is just like tucked away back in the woods. Like you wouldn't even know it was there. And you go in and you see all the stuff, and then you go upstairs, and there's a bunch of offices, and then you get into one part where it's an entire radio station where they broadcast all over the world.
We've got to check that out.
They've got their own radio station. And so the head guy, I don't know if he's still alive or not. He was pretty old when we met him, but he's the main guy over the whole thing.
Now, is this a terrestrial radio station? Where you have to have call letters?
I think it was, but they got most of their stuff from online, and they took donations from people, and you know, I guess that's how they made their money. But it would broadcast 24/7, and the guy would, because this was like a religious thing, the guy would broadcast these end time prophecies, and people would just eat it up. Like it was crazy. We walked in there and they had this super nice like carpet. I mean, the place looked wild. It was super nice. And they were like, normally we would ask people to take their shoes off before they come in the studio, but you guys are all right. They said we have, I don't remember what they called it. It was like lamb skin carpet or something crazy. And they were like, usually we've got, the reason we say take your shoes off is because the people are out there working in the, you know, the horse stable or whatever, and they don't want horse doo-doo on the car. It was crazy. It was crazy. And for a while there, I said to myself, like, this just, something seemed off about it. It just didn't make sense. But the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of like, you know, it's actually probably pretty innocent. And these people just like to do their own thing. They had on another section of the property, they had this big, lumber mill operation where they made furniture. And like, for instance, if the apocalypse hit, this wouldn't be a bad place to go. Right? So I don't know that we want to burn bridges with these people because we may need to go over there. You know, if ish hits the fan.
Well, I'm just going to go crazy and just live on Oak Mountain. I'm going to become a mountain man.
Yeah.
And fight the power.
An Oak Mountain man.
Yeah. I'm just going to probably, eat leaves and, wild animals. Probably eat them raw.
Yeah.
To really build up my system. So if there's like a chemical attack or something, I can handle it.
I don't know what the dietary guidelines were for these people, but I just remember everybody being so nice. Like the first lady we met kind of came up to us, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Andrew and John Bird," and she was so excited. And it wasn't you; it was Tony. They thought Tony was John Bird, and they were listeners of the show. So it was like, hopefully maybe they still listen today. That'd be cool. But it's just it was no Waco. I'll tell you that much. I mean, I know that's the reason I'm bringing it up.
Maybe there should be more places like that out there.
Maybe there should. I mean, I don't know that it's a life I could live. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I didn't have something to stress out about every day. Like, I almost need chaos in my life.
Andrew, you need to just let it go. Just give it up.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that.
Just let it go.
I need the drama. I need drama and chaos in my life. Otherwise, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. All right, 205-545-9950. Let's keep it rolling. Minnesota's largest newspaper is cheering on Tim Walz. as of late for a very weird reason. I'll tell you when we get back.
Turn on your lava lights.
Yeah. Funky B-52s.
I love them.
How
If
about
you see a
that?
faded sign by the side of the road.
Greg says, if you go there, does your wife have to become his wife? I didn't ask that. That's a great question to ask, though. Yeah, he's a nice old man. I don't know if I don't guess he's got. They didn't mention anything about that. Um, Sonia said, she asked if it was. I don't want to say the name, but I think Sonia, I think what you're telling me is correct. I think that's the name of it. It's been a while back. It's been like 2 or 3 years ago that I went. But yeah, it started off as a potential advertiser, and so anytime something like that pops up, we want to go out there and meet them and kind of look over their business and see how they do things and just kind of do our own investigating to make sure it's a good business that we want to team up with, because we're then relaying that information to you. Of course, the commune was not the business. There was a separate business associated with that, they just happened to say, "Hey, this is where we live. Would you like to check it out?" So it was two different things. And at first, I was like, "Nah, I'm not come. I don't want to come to your house where you live. It's kind of weird." And then as he explained what it was, I was like, mm, "Maybe." So I went and talked to Tony Gump, and he's like, "Oh, let's go, dude. That sounds crazy." And it was. It was wild. It was wild. Now I'm interested if that's the name of it. Let me see if she's right. Uh yeah, that's it. That's it. That's well, oh no, yeah. That's it. That's it. I'm looking at it now. Maybe they got multiple locations, but the one I'm looking here, Bird, I'm gonna send you.
Okay.
Tell me if this picture comes through of the. Remember, I was telling you about the big church they had on the property?
Right.
See if that picture I just sent you
Okay.
is the picture of the church. And you can zoom in and kind of look at it. And look at how amazing that place looks.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because I remember you talking about the location. That's what stuck out.
Yeah, it says on Google, it says it's a controversial, close-knit Catholic religious community located on 100 acres, founded in 1986 by the guy. The community is dedicated to spreading the messages of yada, 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 yada. They operate globally to promote events, distribute religious materials, and foster faith-based lifestyle centered on devotion to the Virgin Mary. So, oh, here we go. Quick break. Coming back on the other side. So I mean, it's been 2 or 3 years. We can probably talk about it. It's all over the internet.
Yeah.
I was just looking through a bunch of old TikToks where they were talking about, because there was a controversy that started related to a coffee shop that they opened right off of 280.
Right.
You remember that?
Is it still there?
I'm not sure, but it's on, like, if you go past 119 and you keep going south on 280, like you're going to Chelsea. I think it's once you get, it's I think it's before, maybe it's after, when you go over the big hill. I think it might be before. Hell, I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's before. There's a little shopping center there that's just got a bunch of different little shops. It's past where, like, Gray Bar, 280 and all that is. It's a different shopping center.
Right.
But it is to the right of that. Like, if you're going south, the shopping center's on the right side, and if you're facing the shopping center, the coffee shop is to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we
that's
got
past Walmart and the 119 crossover?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got it.
So when we got invited, it was me and a salesperson. That's where we went to meet them, and it was very, very nice place. And so we get in there, and we're in there for like an hour and a half, and they're like, "Hey, you want some coffee?" They got some, they're like, "We use these coffee beans that are imported from Peru or wherever it was." Like, it's just very, like, high-end stuff. And it's not necessarily, I don't go to a coffee place. I don't even drink coffee, but if I did, this place would probably be a little more high-end than what I would go to, right? But when you get there, they've got a list of rules posted on the little walkway before you even get to the shop. And it was a set of rules that would mimic what you would hear out of an old, like, I don't know, Pentecostal church, like a real old school Pentecostal church, such as women have to wear long dresses, men have to wear, whatever dress clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a coffee shop open to the public, but the dress code is very specific. And so young hipsters got all bent out of shape about it. And they were like, "Well, y'all can't tell me how to dress and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, dude, it's a private business. Like, they can have whatever rules they want to have. I almost commend businesses that have, unorthodox rules, because, first of all, it takes some balls to do it and to take the heat from the general public, especially the way social media works. I think there was one. Remember the one, the Chinese restaurant, or some kind of Asian restaurant, where the owner was charging parents an extra fee if their kids were acting like little ish heads, if they were letting their kids, like, be disruptive to other customers and stuff, and they would either kick them out or they would make them pay an extra fee for their kids acting. You remember that? Like, I like that.
Oh, yeah, I do too. It's their business.
It's their business. I think it's great, and the free market will work itself out. Whether or not that's a good call on their part, you'll see. You either lose a bunch of business or you keep it open. So anyway, we go check it out. The guy we're talking to is a very unique individual, right? He runs a different business that's nearby. I won't get into what it is. I don't even know if it's still open, but we were talking to him about that. Well, then the conversation quickly, soon after we get there, completely changes into, it's all about the commune. It's all about this communal thing, and almost nothing about the business, which is why we're there in the first place. And so it's obvious that he's very very persistent about telling us about their commune and their whole setup. And it's so much information that I'm barely absorbing it. Like, I'm a guy that can only take so much information at once. So a lot of this stuff he's given to us is lost on me. Like I'm lost, and he's quoting scripture, and he's talking about the Virgin Mary, and telling the story about how this lady saw the Virgin Mary in Bosnia, and then she came to Birmingham, and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, what kind of business y'all got? So anyway, we go through all that. We get to the end of it. We do end up talking a little business. Of course, it never worked out. I don't know if they were ever actually serious about teaming up with us, but didn't work out. But at the end, he said, would love for you guys to come check out our, for lack of a better term, setup and what we got going on. And of course, the sales girl that was with me is like, I'm going to have to pass, but you're welcome to go if you want to. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to go either. And then I talked to you guys about it, or at least talked to Tony Gump about it. I think I talked to both of you about it, and you were like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And
Should have gone now, darn it.
Tony was like, no, I'll do it. Let's go. And so sure enough, we went. We got up there, and they met us out there and introduced us to a couple people. One lady was an avid listener, and the guy we initially met was a listener. I mean, that's how he knew about us. And they show us around, and it's all the things that I explained earlier in the hour. I won't go through that, but the whole time they're trying to explain to us how this all came about. And from what I understand is there's a pecking order, if you will. There is a setup where you have, the women stay on site and work. The men can have jobs outside of the commune, and then they bring the fruits of their labor back to the commune. You could maybe even live off site with maybe some sort of stipulations or whatever. But it's all run by this one guy. And apparently the story goes, it was founded back in the 80s. And it all started with a lady, and I think it was Bosnia or somewhere in that region, a lady that claimed she saw the Virgin Mary. And as I assume these people are Catholic, this individual says, well, we got to go visit this lady and see what's going on. Saw the Virgin Mary. That's kind of a big deal. And they get out there and meet her and make this big deal about her or whatever. And then I think her brother ends up with kidney disease or kidney failure. And so they convince her, the lady that saw the Virgin Mary, to come to Birmingham and get treated at UAB. Because UAB had, best hospital, yada, yada, yada. Well, he survives. And so this lady is obviously very grateful, and somehow, some way, they were convinced to build this commune in this church around the idea of this lady seeing the Virgin Mary. And instead of her, the one that saw the Virgin Mary, being the person at the top of the food chain, if you will, it's the guy that just happened to go out there and visit and give the suggestion to come back to Birmingham. And I think that's how it played out. And that was back in 86 or whatever. And ever since then, they view this area where she allegedly saw the Virgin Mary as, sacred land, and they go visit it.
Dude,
and
that's
all this stuff.
strange.
It's wild, man. It's wild, and it's all documented in the buildings and pictures and everything else. And apparently they're open to visitors coming in there and seeing their operation. It almost seemed as if at the time that we went there that they were in the business of recruiting more people to join them. But it's, it is what it is. It was a wild experience. And listen, I'm not knocking them because I didn't see anything that would raise any red flags in particular? I know there's a lot of theories out there on the internet, especially if you go on TikTok and you look up the name of this place, but uh, a lot of it is derived by young people angry that they can't go in the coffee shop without wearing a long dress. So take that for what it's worth. Alan's in Pell City. Alan, what's up?
Not much, not much. Yeah, back in the mid to late '90s, I worked for Shelby County Sheriff's Office as a sheriff's deputy, and that's when if you go through that stretch of road, it's called Caritas of Birmingham, and we had so many Catholic pilgrims show up that the county actually had to widen the road. People were parking for miles and miles on this little 2-lane county highway up there to camp out in that field and hoping to see the Virgin Mary. Then later on, they wound up they would park over now at 280. They'd bring in buses and bus them down there. But it was a pretty it's pretty crazy time. And me being a non-Catholic outside observer, it just seemed like a big scam because it's like, this woman allegedly saw Virgin Mary in Bosnia, and then she was out in this field, and then it's like she only saw her any other time when she just happened to be in that field in Birmingham or in Shelby County.
Yeah.
One night, I was up in the Vanderbilt Sterrett area checking my businesses, about 2 or 3 in the morning, and get a hot call somewhere near Chelsea. So I'm running blue lights and sirens down that stretch of county road, and never seen anything out there before or since. So I'm doing about 9. I mean, it's 2:30 morning. There's no one on this road, or so I thought. Doing about 90, 95 of my Crown Vic, and then all of a sudden, there are these people standing in the road with blankets and pillows, and I have to, jam on the brakes at 90 miles an hour, take a nearly wrecked my car avoiding all these people, and I was so angry. I was like, "What are y'all doing here in the road at 2:30 in the morning?" And we're going out to the pasture to see if we can see the Virgin Mary.
Wow.
And I was like, well, if you see a car with blue lights and sirens approaching at a high speed, how about rush your way off the roadway, please? We sure would appreciate it.
Man, I almost thought you were going to say that you were flying down the road and all of a sudden you saw the Virgin Mary in the middle of the road and that you
No,
hit her.
I did not.
Thank
I
goodness.
did not, and everything. But it was the crazy. It was the craziest thing.
Yeah, now
Craziest
I'm
thing.
glad you bring that up because I want to say that they were telling us something about some big to-do back in the 90s, and I guess it's related to that.
Oh yeah. She claimed to see the Virgin Mary in that pasture, and Catholics for hundreds of miles away made pilgrimages. I mean, you may get on newspapers.com or whatever. Birmingham News had a photograph just showing as to infinity and beyond cars parked on this little narrow, and that's one reason if you drive through there now, the county went in and widened the road extra wide because you couldn't. I mean, as a small law enforcement agency, we didn't have enough deputies to put them out that we were overwhelmed. You couldn't tell them, no, you can't park here, because as soon as you tell 1 or 2, 5 or 6 would pull in. And then every time she made a return, the pilgrims would show back up. And like I said, they would actually park somewhere. They'd pay to park somewhere up near 280, then actually put them on motor coaches and bus them down to that area into the pasture or whatever.
Yeah.
It was very unique times. Very unique times.
Yeah, I'm looking. I just did a quick AI search of that particular event, and I'm seeing all the details of it. That's fascinating. We might have to do a whole podcast on this, John Berg.
Yeah, it's and they're not really good. I remember they would clear cut their property right up to the adjoining. They were trying to buy up other people's property, and they wouldn't sell to them. So they would erect the fence and clear cut like 50 yards from the fence on into back to their own property, and just start letting it wash away and washing away their neighbor's property in a, I guess to get them to capitulate to sell them more property. So, well, you're not going to sell it to me, so I'm going to do something on my property that's going to make your property wash away. And there was lawsuits. It was just a giant mess.
Well, that's wild. Those are some dirty tactics just to see the Virgin
Absolutely,
Mary out in the
absolutely.
pasture. Anyway, well, that's crazy stuff,
All right,
man.
have
Good
a good
info. I appreciate it. I bet there's a lot of people out there. I know. I bet there's a lot of people in the audience that have the stories about this
Why
stuff.
is my heart rate elevated a little bit and I'm a little bit frightened?
Dude, I asked Grok, like, did people come from all over the place in the 90s to Birmingham to see the Virgin Mary? And it's given me, it says, the lady we were talking about came to donate a kidney to her brother at UAB Hospital and stayed with the founder. She reported daily apparitions, including in a bedroom and a field under a pine tree on Thanksgiving of 1988. Thousands of pilgrims flocked to the site, drawn by word of mouth and the church's promotion. This established the location as a U.S. pilgrimage spot. And then 1994, private visits with some public elements, messages were reported, and the site continued attracting visitors. In 1999, a major public event, 5 days of prayer, drew an estimated 40,000 people over the period, per county officials, with pilgrims came from across the U.S. They had a large mailing list reaching over 100 countries, so some international interest existed. A mysterious sky flash, later identified as a meteor, added hype. It says the crowds were significant for a rural U.S. site, thousands per event. Most reports emphasize pilgrims from all over the United States or across the country with cars from many states. International visitors were fewer but possible because of their global network. The Catholic Diocese of Birmingham has not officially endorsed the church, and priests are generally restricted from leading services there. Yeah. Boy, that's wild. I got to take a break, man. I'm getting too deep off into this. 205-545-9950. More of the line coming up. Okay, yeah, there's plenty of news stories out there about it. Apparently 4 years ago somebody, cuz they've got a statue of the Virgin Mary out in the field in that I guess that same field in Shelby County that people come visit. But Curitas of Birmingham is apparently widely known, much more so than I even realized. I didn't know anything about it before we went there and visited the whole thing, but it's there's some money in that bad boy. I tell you that right now. That's and dating back to the 80s. It's been around a minute. And then one guy runs the whole show. His name was, what did I say his name was? Terry Colafrancesco? Colafrancesca? Anyway. But yeah, the news story I was watching, somebody had rolled the Virgin Mary statue with toilet paper.
All right, no, that's not right.
And so it was a big whodunit, and they were all like, hey, if somebody will just take responsibility, we'll forgive them, so on and so forth. But that was from four years ago, I think, was the article I was looking at. Fascinating. I'll move on from that. I teased this whole thing about Minnesota's largest paper cheering on Tim Walz for a very bizarre reason. I want to give you that when we get back. It actually has to do with a pardon that he gave that we've already talked about. But their reason for cheering on Tim Walz is the most bizarre reason you could possibly find. It's wild. That Tom Holman, Ashley Webb, and much, much more coming up in hour number 3.